All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome back. So yesterday we didn't had a session, right? Wednesday. Yesterday we didn't had a session, right? Today is Friday, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Today is Friday. Yeah. One second. Okay. So I'm expecting few more people to join because this is today's session. From today onwards, these sessions are very important for scripting. Okay. So whether it is JMeter or LoadRunner, so request response cycle is very important for scripting perspective. So let's wait for a couple of minutes to see if anyone else also will join. So we have only 50% strength today, right? Before I start the session, guys, by the way, so we are starting Tosca automation training, guys. Okay, Tosca automation training. So that will be started from Monday onwards. Hari is the trainer. So for that Tosca. And I had already created one WhatsApp group for this, and that is available in my WhatsApp status, guys. So please refer any friends or relatives or you know. Again, Tosca. The specialty of Tosca is it is a zero coding automation tool. Okay. So if any one of you are also interested in automation as well, so you can join, but I don't think so. Okay. Performance testing is much rewarding career, I can say. Okay, compared to automation, performance testing is much rewarding career. Okay. So, but if you have any friends who are looking for automation, so please refer them. Any queries, guys?
Hi, Pawan. Raghunath here.
Yeah, Raman.
Actually, Pawan, I'm looking for, so it's a fast track project, right? Just I need refresh my skills, actually, refresh my scripting skills. So that's why I'm looking to join, actually.
Okay. Yeah, so we will. So this is November 1st, right? Today is November 1st, right? So we'll complete scripting by end of November. So once we start scripting, so I will take 1.5 hour session. Okay, right now till now I have been taking 1 hour session daily. If you see this batch tracker sheet, so this is our batch tracker sheet. So we will complete these fundamentals mid of next week, and I am going to start scripting from mid of next week onwards. From there on, I will be taking 1.5 hour session daily. You will have 1.5 hour session, and fast track in the sense like we are providing. We are providing like LoadRunner and JMeter together. Okay, so 10 to 11:30 or will be JMeter and 11:30 to 12:30 LoadRunner.
Okay.
Yes.
2.5
So
hours.
LoadRunner will be started from somewhere around 1 second, next Monday, next Monday. That means 11th November. From 11th November, LoadRunner also will be started for this batch. So if anyone is interested to join, you can enroll for that batch also.
Okay.
So we'll complete scripting and executions by end of November. And from December first week onwards, these guys can start attending interviews. And I will be covering the remaining concepts till end of December. This batch will run till end of December.
Okay.
But all the important concepts will be completed by November. And I will try to complete by end of November. So I should, I should get a cooperation from all the participants as well. If they are working on the scripting assignments promptly or regularly, then I can go faster.
Yeah. Okay. So coming to commercial, we can discuss here. Otherwise, can I call personally?
I had shared it in the WhatsApp group. I shared the fee structure in the WhatsApp group. So for freshers, fees will be like 10,000 for LoadRunner and 10,000 for JMeter. Okay, online training. But for offline, it is 5,000 extra. So for experienced guys, it will be 15 plus 15, 15,000 for LoadRunner, 15,000 for JMeter, because the course contents will be there will be additional 20 to 25 hours of training for experienced guys.
Okay.
Monitoring and analysis will be covered extensively for experienced guys. For freshers, they don't require monitoring and analysis and performance engineering and all this. If they are very good in scripting and executions, that would be more than enough. So, like for freshers, training duration will be 60 hours. For experienced, it will be 80 hours, 80 plus hours.
Okay. Fine.
And we are entering into 6th year of our training. So I think we started these trainings in November, somewhere around November 2018. So, I think so it will be 6 hours, 6 years completed. Will be completed this November.
Oh, congratulations.
And we are running both online and offline training. So offline training we are running in Amirpet right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the offline participants, we are providing free aptitude training and soft skills training on every Saturday. So that will start from next Saturday onwards. It will be started next Saturday or next to next Saturday. It will be started. So we are providing free aptitude training and soft skills training because most of the companies conduct aptitude test even for freshers as well as experienced guys also. So Global Logic and there are a couple of other companies, Global Logic and I couldn't remember the company names. Bangalore-based companies which conduct aptitude test even for experienced guys, 10 years, 15 years experienced guys also. They will conduct aptitude test.
One more question here. We will get any recordings, maybe if we can take a recording option is available.
Yes, for those who join live training only, recorded sessions will be provided. But we are not selling recorded sessions for those who don't join the live training.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
So you can see that you can see one WhatsApp conversation which happened today morning itself. Okay, we don't prefer to sell those recorded sessions.
it. Okay, got it.
So even they are so we are having different batches and different timings. Actually, we are having one evening batch also for those who cannot accommodate training in the morning batch. We are having evening batch from from 7 to 8 p.m. 7:30 to 9 p.m. Sorry, 7:30 to 9 p.m. But we don't prefer to sell recording sessions. So because so you'll get a lot of doubts when doing practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we cannot connect one-on-one also. Okay. If we need to sell recorded sessions, right? So again, if they were blocked somewhere, we should connect one-on-one, which is not feasible for us.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. So let's get started, guys. Only 8 people joined still. Okay. So let's get started. Maybe they'll be joining from Monday onwards, I'm sure. Because more than 10 people paid fees and confirmed they're joining also. I hope, I think because they might have slept late yesterday, last night, and they could not join this morning. Okay, so before starting request response cycle, let us have some quick assessment, guys. Okay, so what are the different software development methodologies? What are the different software development methodologies, Santosh? Popular software development methodologies. You know this answer, guys, but maybe you don't know that is called a software development methodology. I'll give some clue. So we discussed about some, uh, you know, uh, 1 second. 1 second. Someone is asking for the Zoom meeting ID.
Waterfall models in the
Yes. Yes, guys. You know the answer we discussed in the last session itself. We had discussed this in the last session itself, day before yesterday's session.
You want Santosh to answer or anybody you are asking?
Yeah, I asked to Santosh. Santosh, am I audible? Ganpati?
Sir.
Did I share a last recorded session?
Sir?
By the way, guys, this is the playlist URL for this batch. So October 2024 batch. Where is the playlist URL? This one. Yeah, performance testing October 2024 morning batch. So did I upload a day before yesterday's recorded session or no? It's uploaded. October 30th session is uploaded. Right? Only one view. Only one guy has watched it. Excellent. Very good. So please complete the recorded sessions, guys, this weekend, right? So now we are done with the festival, right? Dasra and Diwali, both of the festivals are over, big festivals are over. Now focus on this, right? So complete this over this weekend. Ganpati, so I think you did not attend last session, right? Gracie, what are the two different software testing methodologies?
Waterfall model and agile model.
Waterfall and agile, right? So it is here in front of you, right? So you should, do you know this or no? Waterfall and agile. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Santosh, are you with us? Guys, if you are going away from your system for a moment, so please ping me in the Zoom chat. But if someone is not responding, I'll exclude from the batch, guys. Okay, I'll exclude from the Zoom meeting first, and they will be excluded from the batch as well if they don't respond. Waterfall and agile, right? Without any fees refund, by the way. Okay. So, I shared you terms and conditions, and if you are okay with the terms and conditions only, then only pay the fees, those who did not pay the fees. So these are the two popular software development methodologies that we discussed in the last session, right? So what are the advantages of agile model? Anyone? See, initially we used to have only waterfall model, but agile model came into picture from the past 5 to 10 years. And agile model is very popular software development methodology, right? Most successful and most popular one. So what is the advantage of agile methodology or agile model?
See,
This is for open for anyone. Yes.
if you have any issues with the software that is developed, it can be found out in the earlier stage only if you'll go for agile methodology.
Exactly. Right.
And the cost will be reduced. I mean, the wastage of resources will be reduced because anything it could be, it is early identified.
Right. Exactly. So we do early testing in agile methodology. We start testing along with the development, and that's why any cost of fixing the defects will be very less, isn't it? So defects can be identified early, and cost of fixing those defects also will be less with agile methodology, right? And after every iteration, we will have a MVP, minimum viable product, or working product, right? After every iteration, we will have a working product in agile model, right? These are the benefits of agile model. So in interviews, they will ask you, do you have any experience or exposure to agile methodology? Okay, do you have any exposure to agile model or agile methodology, right? And what are the advantages or what are the limitations or what are the disadvantages of agile model, right? So similarly, what are the advantages of waterfall model? Which projects it is suitable? For which projects it is suitable? And what are the limitations of disadvantages of waterfall model? So these are some frequent FAQs, interview FAQs. Okay. What is the disadvantage? First of all, what are the advantages of waterfall model, or for which projects it is most suitable? What kind of projects is this waterfall model most suitable? Waterfall model is most suitable for smaller projects. Okay, small projects. This is most suitable for small projects where Requirements are well known in advance. Requirements doesn't change from time to time. Okay, doesn't change from time to time, isn't it? Whereas the agile model is suitable for medium to complex projects, medium to large scale projects, medium to large scale projects. This agile model is recommended or preferable, and requirements can change from time to time. Here, requirements can change from time to time, and we start this along with one unique striking feature of agile model is we start testing along with the development, isn't it? Along with software development. So, Santosh, are you with us? Cost of fixing the defects will be less, right? I gave you some examples as well, right? I gave you some house construction example to help you understand the main difference between waterfall and agile. All right. So now, when you say agile model, so they'll ask, the follow-up questions will be something like this. So which approach are you using, Kanban or Scrum, etc., etc.? Or who are all the stakeholders? Who are all the project stakeholders? Right? There will be some follow-up questions on this. We'll discuss them later. But who all are the project stakeholders means product owner, right? Product owner. Next. And Scrum Master. And who all are the stakeholders?
Developers.
Hmm?
Developers.
Developers, functional team, right? Developers. This particular interview question was asked in one of the recent interviews, faced by one of our students. Okay, who are the stakeholders in software project development, in a software project? Okay, in a typical software project. So this is one of the important interview question asked, very recently. One of our students got this interview question, it seems. Okay, he was able to answer and he got selected. Also got selected. So product owner, Scrum Master, developers, and then testing QA team, isn't it? DevOps team, right? So interviewers ask this type of questions to identify whether you have genuine experience or not, guys. Right? Some of you, are planning to or try with a fake experience, right? Claimed experience, isn't it? So these questions are asked to identify whether you have genuine experience or not, right? Because usually people learn LoadRunner and JMeter and then they start attending interviews, isn't it? So no one will cover this. Most of the trainers will not cover this, right? Please remember that these are called as stakeholders. Stakeholders means who are part of the project, software project. So product owner, we discussed what is product owner, who is product owner, and Scrum Master. I think we discussed the Scrum Master also, right? If not, we'll discuss it at a later point of time. Okay. Then, what are the other concepts that we discussed in the last session? What are the prerequisites for doing performance testing? What are the prerequisites for doing performance testing? Yes. What are the prerequisites, guys? Hare Krishna. Madhav, please go ahead.
Application should be stable without any major defects.
Right. So a stable build should be available, right? A stable build should be available. Means stable code should be available with no major functional defects. That is first and foremost prerequisite. Stable build with no major functional defects. Next. We discussed something about the environment.
The
Yes, sir.
environment should be in tandem with the production.
Right.
The environment
So,
should be in tandem with the
yeah,
production.
PT environment should be an exact replica of production. Should be an exact replica of prod environment, prod or production environment, prod environment, and no other testing should be done in while doing performance testing. No other testing should be done while doing PT. Right. Next, any other prerequisites? There is one important prerequisite that we discussed. There is one important prerequisite that we discussed. So we need to have a
Knowledge.
right comprehensive understanding and knowledge of the application, isn't it? Comprehensive understanding and knowledge of the application that we are testing. Knowledge of the application of the AUT under. Okay, AUT or SUT. Now, what is AUT? You know that. Most of you know that. What is AUT?
Application under test.
Application under test. Right. Or system under SUT means system under test. Right. We should have a complete comprehensive understanding and knowledge of the application. Clear, guys? That is one more prerequisite. Right. There are 4 prerequisites, important prerequisites for doing performance testing, isn't it? So now let's move on to the next concept, guys. So this clearly tells that you are not either you are unable to assimilate or you are not remembering. You are not remembering. All these concepts are discussed already, right? So or you are not going through the class notes document or recorded session after the live training. Isn't it? Yes or no, guys? So please go through the recorded session please go through the class notes document or recorded session, guys. We are not Vivekanandas, right? Including me, right? No one is Vivekananda here, right? So it's not enough if you attend the live training session and we will not remember, obviously. Yes or no? So you need to do your homework and you need to take some running notes. When you are going through the recorded session, so take some running notes if you are not taking in the live training, right? Okay. So let me start request response cycle. This is another important concept for scripting purpose, right? So don't miss any of these next 1 week sessions. The next 1 week sessions are very important to understand this, are for scripting, for doing scripting. Okay. So if you understand or if you are able to assimilate the next 1 week of sessions, so scripting will be easier for you, very easy for you. Okay. It will be cakewalk for you. Now, yeah. Now let me go to request response cycle. So what is meant by HTTP request response cycle? Okay. So let me go to the corresponding slide. Just give me a moment. So this is request response cycle. So what is meant by request response cycle? First of all, let us understand what is a request and what is a response. So what is request and what is a response? So communication between clients and servers is done by request and response. First of all, that means what is a request? Suppose if you open any browser to any web application, suppose you are trying to access any web application like Amazon or Flipkart or Big Basket or IRCTC or Myntra. So when you type the URL in the browser address bar, right? This is called as browser address bar, isn't it? So when you type, this is called as browser address bar, right? So when you type any URL in this address bar and hit enter, you are sending a request to HTTPS request to Amazon server, and you got a response from the server, isn't it? What is the response that you got? So the whatever you see from here to here, right, in the browser, right? This is HTTPS response, isn't it? This is your request, right? So this is request, HTTPS request, and the below one is response, isn't it?
Yes.
Now what is request response cycle? What happens from the moment you are sending the request till you receive the response? That is nothing but request response cycle. What actually happens behind the browser from the moment we send this request till we receive the response. So that is called as request response cycle. Clear, guys? Now let us understand that request response cycle. So there are 5 steps in this. Between your request and response, there are 5 different steps or 5 different phases that will happen. First one is local processing. The first phase or first step in this is local processing. Now, what is meant by local processing? Once you enter a URL in the browser, so your browser extracts the protocol server name, port number, resource path, and query string. Means your browser will break the request into these different parts like protocol server name, port number, optional port number, resource path, and query string. Did Harsha join? Okay. So sorry, guys, I did not pass recording. Okay. So the browser extracts or break the request into protocol server name, resource path, and query string. So you need to know what is server name, what is resource path, and what is query string clearly. Okay, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that, in the next couple of minutes. Right. So now, so I gave some examples over here now, and I also used color coding. Observe here. So to tell you that, or to clearly convey that, like this is protocol, HTTPS is protocol, server name is this, in this URL, irctc.co.in URL. So by the way, this is the URL that is the homepage URL. So of IRCTC. Once you type irctc.co.in, right, and hit enter, that is the actual request that goes to the server. This is the request that you send to the server, but the actual request that goes to the server will be something different. Let us wait till the page is loaded. Okay. Why is it saying site is not secure? I don't have any proxy setting in place. Connect to site. What happened? Right? You see here, see, I typed only irctc.co.in, but this is the actual request that goes to the server. nget, and there will be some more, I think there will be one more redirection. I think let's wait till the page is loaded. What happened to something? If some issue with my internet connection, let me check that. Okay. Connected to my Wi-Fi only. 1 second, guys. Okay, ping time is good. This is important. I hope everyone knows this, right? So speedtest.net is to check your internet connection quality. And in this, ping time is important. Okay. Then upload and download speed, ping time is important. Ping time is nothing but reaction time. But still, this IRCD is taking more time means it could be a server issue. It could be a server side issue. Maybe it is Tatkal time, right? That's why it is very slow. Yes or no? Guys, am I audible?
Yes.
So it is Tatkal time, right? From 10 o'clock, we have one Tatkal window, and 11 o'clock, we have another Tatkal window, right? That's why it is very slow. Now, observe here, guys. So, observe here that, this is server name. In this URL, this is your server name. This is your protocol, right? And this is called resource path. Please remember this. Please remember that this is called resource path. Nget train search. This is called as resource path. Now, what is meant by resource path? You need to understand that because, in JMeter, particularly for JMeter, this is very important. Let me show you one JMeter script. So that will give you a fair idea, like, why are we spending this much time or, on these fundamental concepts. Let me show you one JMeter script. I think this is the right time to show one JMeter script. And also, I want to explain, if I made a statement, right? So if you follow the next 1 week of session, scripting will be easy for you, isn't it? So I want to explain that as well. What exactly is that? So typically, in any JMeter script, right? Yeah, JMeter is very slow. 1 second. Let me check my C drive. C drive is in red. Okay. And CPU and memory utilization. Everything is working slow today, right? CPU utilization is fine. Memory utilization is also fine, right? So CPU utilization is only 20% approx, and memory utilization is below 70%. Memory utilization should not be more than 90% in Windows OS. I hope you know that, right? So this memory utilization should not cross 90% in Windows OS. CPU utilization also should not cross 90%. Okay. Anyways, so maybe JMeter is slow. Somehow JMeter is slow. Yeah, that's fine. So now let me open one script and let me show you why are we spending this much time on these concepts. Okay. So I'll open one of the recent scripts, which is user registration. This will be the first script, second application. The demo Blaze will be the second application for you for this batch. For this batch, I'm going to start with, I don't like it, but I'm going to start with WebTours application for this batch. Okay, and then I'll go to demo place, right? So if you observe here, so this is, 1 second. Yeah, this is called as resource path. You see here in script, there is something called path, right? This is actually resource path. Okay, and this is server name or IP address of your application, and this is protocol, and this is port number. Port number is optional, and this is port number. Okay. And this is the reason why are we spending this much time on this, this request response cycle, right? I hope I am clear now why you need this, need to have a clear understanding of these fundamental concepts. Agree with me?
Yes.
Right. Now, so, and what is query string? Let me give some example for this query string also. Let me give some example for query string. Suppose in Amazon, let me open a new tab for Amazon. So this is your HTTPS request. And now suppose you search for some product. Let's say you search for some product. iPhone 16 is the latest one, right? iPhone 16. You search for a product called iPhone 16. Now, if you see this URL, right, let me copy it into your class notes document. So the string after the question mark is called as query string. You see a question mark over here in the C. This is protocol that you understood already. And this is server name. And what is resource path here?
Yes.
Yes. This is called as resource path. Okay. This letter, yes, this part is called as resource path. And whatever string is there after the question mark is called as a query string. Okay. The string after that question mark is called as a query string. And a query string consists of, see, observe here, I searched for iPhone 16 and that is what you are seeing here. And that, what is this plus here? I did not type plus here, isn't it? I didn't type any plus here. But that space got converted into plus. We'll discuss that later. Why that space got converted into plus and all, we'll discuss it. But the space between iPhone and number 16 got converted into plus symbol. And this is the search string that I tried. And this part, the string after the question mark is called as a query string. And a query string, what does a query string contain? String after a question mark in the URL. In the URL is called a query string. Okay. Now a query string consists of this. We have
Alphabets,
some,
numbers.
right? Yes.
I mean, alphabets and numbers. Special characters.
No, not
Like
alphabets and number. Let me explain.
Searched item.
A query string consists of more than one or more than one. Yes, Madhav?
Saying searched item.
Value pairs are key value pairs. These are called as key value pairs, isn't it? K is equal to iPhone 16. This is one name value pair or key value pair. This is next name value pair, right? And each name value pair is separated by a ampersand symbol. Separated by an ampersand. Okay. Is it clear now? What is meant by name value pair or key value pair? Name value pair is also called as key value pair. Name value pair is also called as key value pair. Any queries? I'll take a pause here. Any queries?
You don't see port number here.
In this URL, we don't have a port number, but there will be one default port number for HTTPS, which is for HTTPS, the default port number is 443. Okay. Any queries? Any other queries? See, you need to understand what is key value pair or name value pair. Name value pair. Observe here. See, in this example, this is one name value pair. Let me do one thing. Let me copy it and type it over here. Okay. Key value pair one is this one. Okay. And key value pair 2 is, yes, what is the second key value pair?
Grid equal to 1.
grid equal to up to YX.
Right.
YX.
CRID. This one, CRID. CRID is equal to, this is second name value pair. Okay. This is second name value pair and third name value pair. How many name value pairs do we have here in this example? S prefix is equal to iPhone 16. This is the third name value pair. Right. 16 and till here. Okay. S prefix is equal to iPhone. From here to here till the next ampersand. Okay. So this is key value pair 3. And observe here, each name value pair is separated by a ampersand symbol. And the last name value pair is ref is equal to this one. This is the fourth name value pair. And each name value pair is separated by an ampersand symbol. And symbol is read as ampersand. Isn't it? Any queries, guys? I'll take a pass here. Any queries? No queries? Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So this is what, first, once you enter some URL, right? So your browser breaks that URL into protocol server name, resource path, and query string. That is called as local processing. That is nothing but local processing. Right? And then the next step is resolving the IP address of the server. I already explained this example. Whatever is mentioned here, I had already explained this, isn't it? Now, and now let us understand why this is called as resource path, right? Why is this called as resource path? For that, I'll take one example of a demo application which is installed on my machine. That simple demo application is called as, WebTours, right? So I usually we stopped covering this demo application from 3 batches from the past 3 batches. So however, I am observing that some students or some participants are feeling some difficulty in understanding scripting if we skip this. So that's why, I want to cover this for this batch particularly because, we have more freshers and in this batch, right? So more of freshers in this batch. That's why I want to cover this, this application. I want to restart that application, right? So this is the application URL, guys. Okay, this is the application Web2's application URL localhost 1080 web2's index.html. Now, if you see this example, let me write it into your class notes document. Okay, so this, all right. Now, if you see this URL, this protocol is HTTP here. Protocol is HTTP, and you know what is difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So, what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS protocols?
HTTPS is secured,
How it is? How is it secured? In what way is it secured?
encrypted.
Yeah. Please elaborate your answer. Means encrypted means what is encryption?
I mean, it'll
So what is encryption?
that
What is
site is more secured. I mean, it gives the if you have HTTP, then I think it's more prone to vulnerabilities or something like that.
exactly?
Encryption.
Perfect. Right. So if the HTTP protocol, the main difference between HTTP and HTTPS is HTTPS protocol is secure protocol, right? HTTPS, what is a protocol, by the way? First of all, what is a protocol? Can you define protocol? What is a protocol? Okay, let me explain. So protocol means communication language or set of rules for communication. Protocol means set of rules for communication between server and the client, right? The set of rules for communication between server and client is called as a protocol. So this HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, these are all protocols, different protocols, various protocols. Set of rules for communication or the communication language between server and the client is called as a protocol. Now server means, in this example, Amazon is the server. Or in this example, in IRCT's example, IRCT is the server name, isn't it? Now what is client? Why are we calling it as client? Why are we not calling it as browser? Why are we calling it as client and why are we not calling it as a browser? So client is more, specific term or optimal term that to be used here. So a client can be a browser or a desktop application. Client means here it can be browser or desktop application as well. Desktop application or a mobile application, mobile app, right? So client can be anything. It can be a browser, it can be a desktop application, or it can be a mobile application. Mobile applications are in short called as apps, right? Mobile, we call it as apps, isn't it? You know what is the difference between application and an app, right? So application is the term that is usually used for web applications. For web applications, we use the word called, that applications term is used. The term applications is used for web applications, whereas, mobile applications, we use the term called app. That is a main difference between application and an app. This is just a short form of application. That's it. Clear, guys? But usually we use the term app for mobile apps. Yes or no? Applications we mostly use the word web applications. For browser-based applications, we use the word web applications. Now, protocol is set of rules for communication between server and the client. A client can be a browser, or it can be a desktop application, or a mobile app. Clear, guys? Any queries? I'll take a pass here. Any queries? See, for example, you all joined Zoom meeting through a desktop application. Yes or no? You installed Zoom meeting on your machine and you got this Zoom workspace. This is called as, Zoom client software. This is called as Zoom client software. Clear, guys? Guys, understood or no? Any queries? So this is called as Zoom client software. Okay. Whereas, see, these are all browser-based applications. irctc.co.in, these are all, or amazon.in, these are all browser-based applications or web applications, right? So, a client can be a browser or a desktop application or a mobile app as well. And protocol is set of rules for communication between client and the server. And what is encryption? Now, coming back to this HTTPS, what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? HTTP is a vulnerable protocol. It is not secured. Whereas HTTPS is that S stands for secured. In HTTP, in the word or in the letters, in this S stands for secured, isn't it? Now, in what way is it secured? Whenever you enter some username or password or any your debit card number or net banking credentials or OTPs, those that confidential data, that will be converted, that plain text, you enter that into plain text, right? Text format. So plain text will be converted to ciphertext, something called ciphertext. Means it will encrypt the data, browser will encrypt the data and send it to the server if the protocol is if the application protocol is a HTTPS protocol. And now once your information reaches to the server, your server will decrypt the data. So what is encryption? Converting plain text into converting plain text. 1 second. As if they ask, what is encryption, you should be able to elaborate it or you should be able to define it properly. Converting plain text to ciphertext is called as encryption. To ciphertext, plain text to ciphertext are encoded format or encrypted format. Ciphertext means encrypted format. Okay, this is called as encryption. And now, what is decryption? So converting ciphertext to plain text. Once your credentials and all, once your confidential data reaches the server, your server will convert that ciphertext or encrypted format to plain text. That is called as decryption. This is decryption. Clear, guys? So a HTTP application, let me show you some examples also now. Suppose you are accessing any net banking application or any secured application for that matter. Okay. So I'll try to log into my account, IRCTC account, and let me try to show you that encrypted password. How does your password goes to the server? Okay. So I'm trying to log into my account and let me clear this once. Let me clear the log once and I am entering my credentials, isn't it? So let's say this is my first employee ID. So which has, I created my IRCTC credential with that name. This is my first employee ID. And then, okay, let me clear this and let me, I need to enter the CAPTCHA also, isn't it? LR6 capital R, right? Or else you can log in and booking with the OTP also, you can do that, of course. So let me try to sign in. Okay. The password may be wrong, but that is not important. I want to show you how does the password goes from your browser to server. It is saying bad credentials, but that is fine. That is absolutely fine. So I'm not trying to show you login page, but I'm trying to show you encryption concept, isn't it? So where is our IRCTC URL, main URL? First, let me search for that, see, you see here, where is the username? I'm not seeing the username. Where is this main URL? I should see the main URL somewhere here. So I think this is the main URL. If you go to the headers, yeah, auth provider web token. Wait, I'll take some other website like online SBA. All right, so I'm logging in. Before that, before hitting login button, I am opening developer tools so that you can see basically developer tools captures what is the your request and response, isn't it? So now once you click on login, right? So this is the main URL login submit.htm, isn't it? And now if you see the payload, if you go to payload, right, you should see that username and password somewhere. You should see that username and password here, but see, you see here, username is going as it is, but see how is password going to the server? How did the password go, guys? Password went in an encrypted format, isn't it? Yes or no? You cannot see that
Yes.
password. My actual password is capital P small a s something, right? But you cannot see that password, but you can see the username. But password is going to the server in an encrypted format. Clear, guys? Or ciphertext. Can we read this? We cannot read this, right? Yes or no? Yes, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So, so this is what encryption means. Now, once your password is, once your credentials are received by the server, your server will convert that encrypted format into plain text, or that ciphertext will be converted into plain text on the server side. That is called as decryption. One of the important interview questions on fundamentals. What is encryption and decryption? Right. So please remember the terminology: plain text to ciphertext and ciphertext to plain text. That is called as encryption and decryption, respectively. Okay. Now, how did we come here, guys? Okay. So let me go there. Why did we come? Why did we go there? First of all.
HTTP and HTTPS difference between.
Yeah. So when we are discussing about these protocols, we went there, isn't it? So HTTPS is secure protocol, right? And protocol means set of communication language between browser and communication language between server and the client, or client and the server, right? Or set of rules for communication between client and server. That is protocol. That is the meaning of a protocol. Now the next step is, so your browser will break that request into protocol server name resource path query string, right? And then it will try to, once that is done, it will try to resolve the IP address of the server. Once it gets this server name, once this, your browser gets the server name, it will try to resolve the IP address of the server. Okay. What is meant by resolving the IP address? Like what is IP address, by the way? We discussed it in the fundamental sessions, isn't it? So what is IP address, Gracie? Gracie, what is IP address? Are you with us, Gracie? Gracie, if you cannot answer, at least speak out.
Unique number that device connect.
Right. Unique address assigned to any device connected to the internet, isn't it? That is called as IP address. Now your browser will try to get the IP address of the server. Okay. As a second step. In the second step, it will try to resolve the IP address. Right. So all these will have IP addresses. All these irctc.co.in or Amazon, will they have IP addresses? Will they also have IP addresses? They should have it. They should have some IP address. The server should have some IP address. Okay. How to identify that IP address? If you open a command prompt and type, ping amazon.in. Okay. I'm not sure whether, some few things will not work. Yeah. But this is working. So you see here, ping amazon.in, and this should be the IP address of Amazon server, isn't it? And if you type ping apple.com, you can see the IP address of apple.com, Apple server, right? Or else if you ping gmail.com, ping gmail.com. So you can see the IP address of Gmail server. Clear this, right? So this is the IP address of that server. Now what is your so what is this resolving IP address means? Your browser will try to get the IP address of the server that you are trying to send a request. Okay. So for that, to resolve the IP address, first it will look into its own cache of recently requested URLs. Means first it will look into the browser cache. If the IP address is not found there, then it will look into OS cache, means operating system cache. If the IP address is not found there also, then it will look into router cache, your Wi-Fi router cache, and then DNS cache. Okay, your router cache means your Wi-Fi router cache. If the IP address is available, see if any other user access the same website, that will be available in the router cache, right? So that's why it will try to resolve that IP address from the router cache. If it is not, but if it is found, it will get it from there. Otherwise, it will look into DNS cache. Now, what is DNS? DNS stands for domain name server or domain name system. DNS stands for domain name system or domain name server. Now, what is this DNS server? What does it consist of? It will contain a table like this. It will, it is just like a phone book. It is just like a phone book where you have, name and phone numbers, etc. Right? So suppose, you type domain, assume that these are the domain IP address. Okay. So suppose you type gmail.com. That is a domain, right? This is called as domain. And what is the IP address that we observed here for Gmail? So this is the IP address of Gmail that we observed, isn't it? So your DNS server consists of entries like this. That's it. It is just like this is just like a phone book. Okay, what does a phone book contains? It contains your name and phone number, isn't it? Telephone directory, you know telephone, what is a telephone directory, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So it is something like a telephone directory where it contains, names and, IP addresses here. This is called as DNS server. Okay. So it will look into DNS cache first. If it is not found there also, then it will, if all these cache lookup fails, then browser fires off a DNS request. That means your browser sends a request to the DNS server. Your browser sends a request to the DNS server, and if you type gmail.com in browser, it will send, like your DNS server will send the IP address like this to the browser, and then it will establish a TCP connection. Once it gets the IP address, then it establishes a TCP connection or TCP handshake. Another important interview question: what is TCP handshake? What is TCP handshake? First of all, what is TCP? You might have read this in your academics, right? What is TCP? What is IP? Yes. What does TCP stands for, guys? Guys, you know this. Most of you know this.
Transmission control protocol.
Right. Transmission control protocol. Guys, if you don't know, at least do a Google search. If you know how to do a Google search fastly, right? So TCP stands for transmission control protocol. IP stands for internet protocol. Your whole internet is based on works on this TCP IP protocols. Okay, internet protocol. So that's all. You need not know the in your academics, in your MCA or computer science, BTech computer science. You have some important question in this, right? Related to this. What is that, guys? I don't recollect at this moment. Sorry. 1 second. Yeah. So once it gets the IP address, your browser will establish a TCP connection that is called as TCP handshake, right? That is called as TCP handshake. Once client has an IP address, it must open a TCP connection over which it has to send a HTTP request or HTTP or HTTPS. It can send a HTTP or HTTPS request. Okay. And that request, it can be, there are different request methods again. So it has to send a HTTP request, and there are different types of HTTP requests called get, post, put, delete, patch. These are the important, these are 5 important request methods: get, post, put, delete, patch. Tomorrow's session, we'll discuss what is get method, what is post method, when is get method preferable, when is post method used. We'll discuss those tomorrow. And now once your server processes your request, browser receives the response from the server and renders the page as response. Once browser receives the response from the server, it renders the page as response. So this is what happens from the moment you send a request till you receive a response. Finally, your browser, if your server is able to process your request successfully, it will send the request to the browser and browser will render the page as response. What is meant by rendering? Rendering means nothing but arranging the, resources. See, for example, if you see Amazon page, the logo will be always on the top left, isn't it? Amazon logo will be always on the top left. Card symbol will be always on the top right. Right? This is called as rendering. Rendering means, arranging the different page resources. That is called as rendering a page or page rendering. Okay. So basically, like your response will be received from the server to browser in a compressed format, encrypted format and compressed format. Means in a zip format. Once it is received by the browser, it will extract that response and it will shows the, it will render the page and finally it will show the response like this to us. Clear, guys? So this is what happens from the moment we send this request till we receive a response. And that is called as request. That is nothing but request response cycle. So we'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow, guys. Okay. So, tomorrow, okay, please wait. So tomorrow is Saturday, right? So we'll not have a session tomorrow, but we'll start, I'll start offline also from Monday onwards. We'll have our next session from Monday. So it will be both online and offline. Clear, guys? So it would be 4th November, right? Or shall we have a session tomorrow? We'll not have a session for this batch because, for next batch, I want to take session. Okay. For batches which are running, which are about to be completed. Okay. So I want to take session tomorrow. For your batch, anyways, this is a new batch and enrollments are still in progress. I will not take session for this batch on Saturday. Okay. But, next Saturday, I will be giving you week 1 assessment for this October 2024 batch. I will be giving week 1 assessment on next Saturday. Okay. Week 1 assessment, there will be 15 multiple choice questions to answer in 15 minutes. This will be online test for online participants. For offline participants, there will be a written exam. There will be a written test on a paper. Okay. This is for offline participants. All right. So I'll stop it here, guys, for today. Okay.
Pawan,
Yes.
Kinera here. So can we just connect for 5 minutes after this call? If we can continue in the same call.
I have next batch people waiting now. So, the next batch people already started joining. So can we connect after 12:30? After 12:30, I'll be free.
Sure. I don't mind. It's in the same call?
Or you want to share your screen? Do you want to share your
Yeah,
screen?
actually, yes.
Okay.
So like 5-10 minutes, that's it. So I mean, just let me know the availability so that we can just have.
So rather than one-on-one, let's have let us discuss tomorrow in the first 5-10 minutes. Right? Or else, we can proceed now. We'll do one thing. Only very few people joined today from next batch. Only Nagaraju, Sai Kumar, Satish. Only 3 people joined today. Yeah, we'll continue. Let's continue. Whatever.
I
Can
mean,
we discuss now?
not related to this thing. It is for the evening class. Yeah.
Evening batch. Okay. Evening batch, then we will discuss in the evening.
I mean,
First 5-10 hours. Or 5-10 minutes, sorry.
the scripting related issue. Should that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
You can submit by weekend.
I mean, so actually, I want to practice. So okay,
You are stuck here.
yeah, I got stuck. We'll connect later. Maybe I'll take it offline. Yeah, I'll just Thank you.
Yeah, one quick question here. So we are establishing a TCP handshake, right? So HTTP itself is a protocol. Why can't HTTP request transfer over HTTP protocol? Why are we establishing a TCP handshake before HTTP?
No, those are computer basics. We have to go back to computer network basics.
Yeah.
Okay. Why should we establish TCP connection? So, anyone remember that concept? That is one of the important OSI model. Yes, here I got it. So this is OSI model. So you need to understand what is OSI model. What are the different layers in that OSI model? You remember this is one of the important question for in our academics for computer networks, right? So that is how it was defined. That is how this, this OSI model was defined. Right? You need to go to that level, but not required, not really required at this moment. But you should know what is, see, in this, these are important. What is resource path, what is server name, and what is query string. These concepts are important. And this is one of the important, question asked in particularly product-based companies ask these kind of questions like, can you explain request response cycle, etc. That's why I had covered this. They may also ask OSI model as well. May also ask, okay, do you remember OSI model? Can you explain OSI model, etc. Okay. All right, then I'm closing the meeting. So we'll continue from Monday onwards. Okay.